cut short. I cut it short on purpose. But good morning. It is November the 21st, 2022. And good morning, David. Is Michael Devellano doing Pucks and Dreams, the Detroit Red Wings edition of Hockey Nation in the morning. We're here just to touch on the game that was on over the weekend, the standings, who's performing well, and the game preview for the Nashville Predators on Wednesday. How are you doing today, David? Appreciate you joining. Please make sure you hit like and subscribe. I know it's a little tough for people joining in the morning. They've got work to do. We might as well get right to it. So big win on Saturday. Red Wings encountered some pretty not spectacular goaltending, and this seems to be a theme until last night, by the way. We should review the games that happened last night because it's pretty obvious that goaltending is so important. And man, I don't know if Columbus is consistently getting it, but the young Tarasov did really well last night in their game. But again on Saturday, not so great for Korpisalo. But that is to the Red Wings' benefit. And suddenly the Red Wings are in a pretty decent spot in the wild card race. So big night on Saturday. Interesting, Red Wings walked out of the first period with a 1-0 lead, and then just the floodgates opened after that. They are 9-5-4. So that's 2 wins in a row, I believe, with San Jose, a bit of a thumping to San Jose. And then actually the San Jose game was a little bit wacky. Much better effort and much better goaltending. I'm not in Qatar yet. Intertap, good morning. I am leaving this morning. Well, I guess at technically 2 p.m. PST, 5 p.m. EST. I will be flying to Qatar for the World Cup and to visit my family. My sister and her family moved there. So we'll be staying with them. We're pretty excited about that. My first time in the Middle East. We will also be at some point be going to Saudi Arabia, which will be interesting to go to Dubai. It's very close. Intertap, what was so interesting about this? Shots on goal, 37-28. So I was wrong on one thing in the description. I thought the Blue Jackets actually outshot them, but they didn't. But they did out-hit them. And, this is unusual in recent memory because the Red Wings have been out-hitting opponents. But they did that. Yeah, thank you, Intertap. It's going to be crazy long travel the next 24 hours. I think it's like 18 out of the next 24 hours. I will be on airplanes. So first I fly to New York today, and then I fly tonight to Doha. So that's going to be pretty crazy. Thank you, David. We are going to see, this is off topic of hockey, but we are going to see Argentina and Mexico on Saturday. And then we've got 3 of the Canadian games we have tickets for. We'll see what else we see. My brother-in-law has been working on the 8 World Cup stadiums there since December, kind of November. No, maybe it's been over a year. Yeah, over a year now. October last year. I gotta get the hiccups, guys. So in this game, it was interesting. Just going back to this, Red Wings 37 shots on goal, so they did outshoot the Blue Jackets. So there was that. 2 for 3. I don't know why I have the hiccups. 2 for 3 on the power play. Dominated in the faceoff circle, the Blue Jackets. 58-42. This is kind of crazy. These are Hall of Fame numbers if anybody has them individually. 6 penalty minutes for the Red Wings, 8 for the Blue Jackets. This resulted in 3 power plays to 2. Jackets over 2. 2 for 3 for the Red Wings, so that's good news. Only 11 hits in this game for the Red Wings. So I don't know what that said because they were definitely out-hit. And if you look back, they've been out-hitting the other team a lot. And Blue Jackets, who are kind of famously known for blocking shots, block one more shot than the Red Wings. However, the score, not so close. So this leaves at 9-5-4, 22 points in 18 games, 1 point behind Tampa. If you look in the wild card race, they are first in the wild card race. So if you look, we've got some pretty crazy swings and goals. Like they've been blown out 6-2 and 8-3, and it's been kind of crazy. So then to have a 6-1 win, pretty impressive. And a big night for Filip Hronek. Filip Hronek gets 2 goals. He's been logging pretty good minutes. This is good news for the Red Wings if he's starting to score. We know he's got a real good shot from the point. Moritz Seider, 3 assists, so he is starting to rack up the offense that you would expect from him. Scored his first goal the other night. So, and Ben Sherratt scored. So if you look at the breakdown, a couple of assists to Lucas Raymond, who was quiet the previous game. Andrew Kopp get a couple assists, so now he's starting to get on the board. Interesting absent player from this is Elmer Soderblom. So Elmer's now playing 13 games on the season, has 2 goals, but he was really, really struggling. And it just thinks that you got to look and think that he's going to probably get on track at some point. They'll need him at some point. You kind of would like to see him go down to the AHL. The other notable absence up on the scoreboard, which was unfortunate, was Jonathan Berggren. Oh my God, I am like friggin' hiccuping, guys. We're going to do this right. Let's see. Stop hiccuping. Do you realistically see Detroit? Right now, they are second in Metro, and what's beneath them ain't so great. So I'm wondering, or sorry, in the Atlantic, you would think the Metro, but if you look at it, when we look at the whole thing, I'm not sure they're going to be in the hunt. They seem to be able to play these stretches where they have, they're able to capitalize against a little bit weaker teams. So that's a change from previous years. We got Tyler Bertuzzi back, and I think that's helping out. Elmer Soderblom, I thought they would rely on him quite a bit, but he's really struggled. So having Bertuzzi back has really been good. Perron in, playing great. Kubalik playing great. Larkin playing real well. And they're they've got good production now from the D, like Seider and Hronek. Like, if you look at the top, even the top 6, but the top 4, now that they've been relying, I think, if you look at the split between Husso and Nedeljkovic, it's becoming obvious, which I kind of guessed was going to happen. Husso's the guy. So as long as he can stay healthy, then you're in good shape. I have no idea why I have the hiccups. I never get the hiccups. This is crazy. Got to breathe there. So this is ahead of the matchup with the Preds. So I think that they're going to be in the mix. I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't. And I don't know if they'll make it in the end, but and the Bruins, crazy. Is it 11 or 12 games now? It's kind of crazy. Let's look at the standings, because I think we're like, we're 20 games in. So we're 1/5 of the, is it 1/4? Yeah, for 20 games in, we're 1/4 of the way through the year. Illumi! When was the last time the Wings were in? Maybe, yeah. Was it 2017? And they just didn't have a chance. I mean, Red Wings have been, this is a significantly improved team with all the moves in the offseason by Stevie Yzerman. That is obvious. They've been doing this without Bertuzzi. They've done it without Verana. I mean, that's what I was going to say. Like, I think it was when Zetterberg was in. I think they made it 1 year without Pavel Datsyuk, and we could take a look at that. I think that's probably worth checking. But I think this is all good news. I mean, I think they are absolutely going to be in the mix. Like, number one, the coaching is way better. I mean, they give themselves a chance. They recover after a bomb night. Now, that could change, but this is just a different team. So you're right. The Metropolitan, I don't know, like right now, Boston is killing it, right? 16-2-0. Like, they've had 2 losses and no overtime losses. This is insane. Like, after a while, did you call this a streak? I hope this translates to the playoffs for them, but they've been getting Ullmark, great goaltending from Ullmark, and it sounds like Swayman's on his way back. New Jersey, a 26-goal differential. And they're doing this in a division with Carolina and Islanders, and I think the Rangers are in a bit of shock right now, because you would have thought the Rangers have been up. And don't look too far past Pittsburgh right now, because they're working it. But I mean, I gotta think these 3 teams, they're not looking amazing. You gotta think those 3 are out. And Pittsburgh is not going away quietly. Like, Malkin's gonna, he's had 3 wins in a row. Tristan Jarry had a real good game, so they're gonna be dangerous. And Malkin just played his 1,000th game, I think, and so he's kicking it. I mean, he's been really healthy. Toronto 10-5-4. You know, Matt Murray back. He's been playing pretty decent, I think. So those are all good news stories in Toronto. They're just super talented. I don't love the way they play for the playoffs. 4 wins in a row for Tampa. So as much as you're talking about the Metro, I mean, these are 3 powerhouse teams. And then you got Detroit. And then you've got what I was saying before again, which is going to be the story all year. If you're a Florida fan, this team is going to be a yo-yo like every Paul Maurice team ever. Don't look too far, but they have a game in hand and they have the same record at Montreal. Like Montreal within Florida. But if you look at this, Buffalo's getting kicked around. 8-game losing streak after a 4-game winning streak. That's kind of crazy. Would have not have anticipated that. And yet there's guys that are having career years. I think this boils down to D and goaltending at this point, which is weird. Ottawa, you know, that just seems like a lost cause. They haven't moved to change it. So if you look at the wild card right now, Detroit is in the first wild card position, and they are ahead of the Rangers. So who's surging here? I mean, the Rangers have been what they have been. This is not like they have fewer goals in more games than the Red Wings. They do have fewer against, but not many. I mean, they got like a world-class goalie there in Shesterkin. What's going on? Now, he's been playing very well lately, so that could help. Pittsburgh, 3-game winning streak. Don't count them out. And Florida, I have no faith in. I mean, I just don't. Like, is Florida going to overtake any of these teams? The way New Jersey is winning, they ain't going anywhere. They've turned a corner in their development. And I just don't see it in Florida. Are they playing without Barkov? Like, what's going on in Florida, man? It doesn't. Now, Matthew Tkachuk is. Whew. No, they're playing with Barkov. Like, what's going on? 15 points in 18 games? He misses Huberdeau. But the guy that you wouldn't have said is Matthew Tkachuk. Like, he's 1.5 still. So his 114 or 117-point season was no mirage. I mean, this is crazy. Colin White having a good little rebirth here, but. And Sam Bennett's been heating up, so that's good news for them. They obviously miss Aaron Ekblad, but that cannot be the whole story here, guys. I mean, Bobrovsky not been amazing, and Spencer Knight's a little inconsistent, but been better than Bobrovsky. I don't know. It's so weird. I don't see Florida coming out of this, do you? You're thinking 5 from the Metro. I just don't see it. Is it 5? Oh my God, this is so annoying. I mean, you got 3 there, and you're going to get 1 more. I think you're going to get 4. I mean, you could have Pittsburgh bump up and knock Detroit out. But, like, right now, I mean, I don't know. It's not like Detroit's fallen off. Detroit's going to have an easier schedule if they're playing teams, you know, in their division. 16-2 is nuts, right, David? It's kind of crazy. Barkov is playing like I've looked at the stats some nights and I'm like, is Barkov hurt? Maybe he is, but he's playing. Good morning, same old lame Detroit Lions from Denver. Okay, well, it's not the same old lame Detroit Red Wings. I feel like it's very realistic based upon this that they will be in the wild card hunt. Maybe Pittsburgh overtakes them. And Verhaeghe, Verhaeghe's kicking butt. I just don't see this working out. I don't think Paul Maurice is going to put them in the playoffs. Bobrovsky looks like he's in outer space still. I mean, and do you count on Spencer Knight? Spencer's a great young goalie, but he's a young goalie. So I'm not sure. Well, that's me. I mean, I just don't know. Now, so Nashville's up next. Suddenly Nashville is 5-4-1 in their last 10. They've clawed back to be 8-8-2, and they're in the mix in their wild card. But that's a tough side as well. You know, Calgary continues to kind of struggle. St. Louis is on a tear. The Moms need to keep traveling with the team. Why is Edmonton in the wild card? This is ridiculous. Why? Because of this. What the heck? Did you see that goal the other night, by the way, by Connor McDavid that won it for them in overtime? It was like he walked around Alex Pietrangelo against Vegas, and then he did this thing where he looked like he passed it, but he moved the puck like this far over, and then with the edge of his stick, he put it up over the goalie. New Jersey's crazy, Intertap. It's kind of crazy. Like, they're just like, hey, we're gonna thump everybody. Like, they have just so many weapons. I don't think all their weapons are even firing yet. Like, they've been sitting Holtz. They've been sitting Kevin Ball. You know, they're getting good goaltending from Vanacek, which is a big difference. I mean, right now, all the wins, I think, are in his column still. I'm not sure about Matt Blackwood. I think he's still kind of struggling with his health. But, you know, Hughes playing phenomenal. They're doing without Palat. Like, Palat's lost for long term. Like, imagine if they had Palat. That goal by McDavid, I wish I could show it. But he curled through. I think Draisaitl gave him the puck, and he already had the speed. And Pietrangelo was just like, I cannot catch this guy, because he curled right around Pietrangelo, got the puck, and it was like Pietrangelo looked at his defensive partner, I think, and was like, "Can you get him? Like, just do something." And he just did this little body. You know, he's very erect and he skates, right? He just has those quick little tight crossovers, not big wide stance. And just like, and then all of a sudden he moves the puck here, goes to the outside and flips it. And it was like, oh, well, Logan Thompson had no chance. I can't remember if it was Chandler Stevenson. I think Pietrangelo looked at him like, I am not going to be able to get this guy. Just, that's not happening. It's the fastest man in the universe. It was crazy. All right, well, so looking ahead to Nashville, let's take a look at that game. And we should actually take a look at the games. There's some kind of crazy games. So Pittsburgh beating Chicago 5-3 last night. Might have been yesterday afternoon. I can't remember. I watched this a little bit. I didn't watch. I just kind of kept an eye on the score. What caught my eye was this. Like, so you split up Patrick Kane and Alex DeBrincat. Patrick Kane has 3 goals on the year. Still has a lot of assists. But I think we underestimate that duo, how important they were to each other. They've been running gun mates for years here. Reichel having a real good time, playing real well. Malkin, like, you can say what you want, but this guy's, 20 points in 19 games. Just, played his 1,000th career game, 1,166 points in 1,000th career game is pretty darn good. Brock McGinn, 6 goals. So this is, again, this Pittsburgh team where they get these guys in and they just do, they kind of outperform based upon players that sometimes you overlook. We saw this with Jared McCann. Every single night you see this with Jake Gensel. At some point, you've got to say Jake Gensel, 10 goals, 18 points in 15 games. And they did not miss a beat last year when he was in the lineup without Sidney Crosby. It's not like he stopped scoring. He actually I think if you look at the rate, he at least maintained it. And Letang is playing real well. So 11 points in 18 games. You might want to see a couple more goals, but those will come. So suddenly we were worried about this team. I think the defense, they did lose something with John Marino. We probably underestimated John Marino. He's playing very well in New Jersey. And Ty Smith's in the AHL, which kind of surprises me. But you got to think that's a bit of a reformation for something, probably his defensive play. And then, Columbus gets thumped by the Red Wings on Saturday. They come back. They get outshot 50-23. And young Daniel Tarasov, is he sending a message that this is like, hey, man, this is my net? How does Sergei Bobrovsky have a 783 save percentage in this game? It's absolutely ludicrous. Oh, and Eric Ekblad was back last night. He got a goal. Okay, so I did not watch this game. I just noticed that Tkachuk is like ripping it up. And Johnny Gaudreau has 7 goals and 11 assists, so this is paying off. And they get a win here when they get good goaltending, like 50 shots. That's crazy, right? That's nuts. Kent Johnson getting on the board. That's good news for them if he starts picking up a little bit. But Tarasov, a 940 save percentage on 50 shots. That is kind of wild. Forsling, it's like, I don't get what's going on, and I don't know. Is it all goaltending? Like, do they have to ride Spencer Knight? That's going to be tough. They got $10 million tied up in Bob. What a shame we've not yet had an Olympic or World Championships in NHL's talent. Yeah, when's the next Olympic? Is it 2026 or? Any news about how Veron is doing? I mean, listen, I don't think they're anticipating him back at any time soon. I think this was a problem they knew about when they made a trade for him, and that's why they probably got so much back. Because if you remember, it was like 3-for-1, and Anthony Mantha was no franchise player. Like there's probably risk with Verona. And if you look at Verona's stats, they were great. He apparently showed up in his interviews and looked like he was bombed. So I don't know. That's not something you change in 30 days. I think he's in the player treatment program for a reason. I don't know the drugs, alcohol, what it is, but this is a personal issue of some sort, it seems. So, who knows? I think they're not even counting on him being back, to be honest with you, same old. All right, so those two games are kind of crazy. Let's take a look ahead to Wednesday. We have to skip over a whole bunch of days here until the Red Wings play again. They're hosting the Preds, so they will be finally well rested, which is not, after like the tough part of their schedule. See, we're here. So they got through this crazy period pretty well. And they're coming out above 500. So they got the Preds on Wednesday. On Friday, they got the Coyotes. Sorry, not the Sharks. Oh, my God. This hiccup thing is crazy, guys. I'm sorry. This will be a tough game against Toronto. Toronto's now, 10-5-4, and everything's okay in Leafland. And then Buffalo's been getting kicked around. I don't know. He had surgery. That's what I was always wondering, but we don't know. We think this is substance abuse, but I'm not sure. He was looking pretty rough. And there was an interview that he had before he went into the program. So he looked like he was showing up smashed, like from a party night. And he came from that Russian party machine. So who the hell knows? We know when we saw Evgeny Kuznetsov doing cocaine on TikTok, like. Oh, sorry about that. Big pile of cocaine on the table. Like, that team is known for being a hardcore party atmosphere. It's ridiculous. Oh, it's playoffs. It's time to go drinking, the Russian style, like Russian party machine. And, for all the injuries they have with Backstrom and those guys, like the coach has done a pretty good job of trying to keep them together. It sounds like they're going to get Orlov and Oshie back. Good morning, Lucky. Thank you for joining. Please hit like and subscribe, guys, and share this with your friends. I know this is not the main show with the Detroit Red Wings update on Mondays and Wednesdays. And we put out a video. Did you see the video on Friday? If you didn't, go back and take a look at it. I put it out as a pre-recorded. It was a premiere. It wasn't live for chat, unfortunately, but it was a premiere of, it kind of was like a live with a recorded video, if that makes sense. Fridays are a little tough to do a live sometimes. Yeah, where Verona came from, he came in the Anthony Mantha trade, right? So he came from Washington along with Hronek, and there was one other piece to that I'm blanking. Oh my God, this hiccup thing is driving me nuts. All right, sorry for the long. I'm trying to get rid of these hiccups. I can't believe this. Will the Devils finally lose tonight? Who knows? I keep asking like how they're winning. It sounds like they're doing it with really good 5-on-5 play. I mean. It seems crazy to me. Like if you look at the Devils, like this is nuts. And there's another guy like Vanacek comes out of Washington. Oh man, go away. Comes up out of Washington. Now they're playing the Oilers. I mean, I'd like to see them lose. I want to see Edmonton get on a bit of a roll here. Like Edmonton was kind of my sentimental favorite for Stanley Cup. I think Connor McDavid's on such a mission. If you look at the stats, like, oh my God, I'm so annoyed. Jesper Bratt having a phenomenal season again. So he has turned a corner in his career. Hischier putting up career numbers. Jack Hughes, putting in big numbers. And this is really panning out for them with Dougie Hamilton. And don't forget Thomas Tatar, who will score all the useless goals that you need in the world. But, still getting points. He's a guy that won't hurt you, but doesn't necessarily put you over the top. And Miles Wood's contributing. And I think that Sharon Govich hasn't even really hit his stride yet. Dawson Mercer just kind of getting some points recently. So they've got some more in the tank, and this Zetterlund kid looks real good. John Marino plus 11, is that what he is? Jeez. So this trade's really worked out for New Jersey. I always thought it was going to work out for Pittsburgh more. So you can see they built this defense with John Marino coming from Pittsburgh. Ryan Graves was stolen from Colorado because they had to dump the salary. And then Dougie Hamilton, right? So you've got like 3 pillars right there. Siegenthaler's been really, really, really solid. Former Washington Capital. And, Damon Severson's been pushed down to a lesser role. So they're doing this all without Andre Palat. Even Jesper Bachfish just got in the, they got Bachfish and Holtz on the sidelines. Kevin Ball's only played 3 games, and I would not have thought that. I thought he would have been their top 4 this year, which a lot of times he was last year. So Tom Fitzgerald knows what he's doing. You can just say that. Will they beat Edmonton? I am unclear. Wasn't Jensen? Yeah, he was already over there. You think they're going to lose? I hope they lose in your tap just because it's Edmonton, and I want Edmonton to get some separation. Yeah, so they traded for 2 picks and a forward. Yeah, Jakub Vrana and Richard Panik, and then Panik was repackaged, I think, once or twice. Islanders in that mix, maybe. I'm trying to think of what draft picks they got. So if you look at Mantha, oh, I can't even pull up on the screen there. If you look at that Mantha trade, I'm trying to remember if they already took one of the draft picks or not. Oh, okay. Well, this would have been a good player to keep. Wyatt Johnson is a damn good pick. How'd that happen? Where did Wyatt Johnson go? Dallas Stars. Oh, boy. Man, but they got Kosa, so that's what it was. So they gave up, this guy alone, Wyatt Johnson. I don't know if you've been watching him in Dallas. He was, I think, the leading scorer in the OHL last year with Windsor. And then he stepped right in, not even going to the AHL, and he's playing really well. This is a really good rookie. Don't know this guy. Let's take a look at the Russian guy. Is this guy from the OHL? Yeah, that's what I thought. So that's another defenseman in the kitty for Dallas. But, I mean, getting Sebastian Koss is super, super important. Remember we played in Jersey in the first game, the guy was saying he was sick of playing on a bad team, Miles Wood. Well, there you go. Not playing on a bad team anymore, buddy. You're part of a good team. All right, we are quarter before the hour. So that's an interesting trade. I think Kosa is more important to the Red Wings than Johnson is at the moment. But Johnson, you could see, is going to be a top 6 player in the NHL. This guy's scoring in the OHL is translated to the NHL. He's quick. He's smart. He can shoot the puck accurately. Yes, Kosa is playing in the ECHL, I believe. Yeah, there we go. If you look at Grand Rapids, where he'll have to, I think this was a 2 or 3 year project anyway. That was kind of my assumption, just based on what we saw in the World Juniors, like where he lost the starting role for the World Juniors. He was not good in the World Juniors. I think he had a really good rookie camp. He had a really good training camp, and obviously he's not ready for the AHL yet, but he will be. This is a similar path to what Stuart Skinner took, right? Like Skinner played in the ECHL, then the AHL, now he's with Edmonton. So I think you're going to see something similar there. This Finnish goalie, and this, I think he's Swede, right? Bradstrom. Yep, Swede. Not doing amazing. So goaltending in the AHL has not been amazing. But, you don't want to feed Kosa to the Wolves either, so they must feel there's some deficiency in the defense. Interesting. So that's interesting. That's going to be a trade similar to the Vasilevsky trade, going the other way, where they moved like Kevin Quincy, and they brought in Kevin Quincy and or Kyle. Is Kyle the NHLer and Kevin's the brother? I can't remember. I know Kevin. Kyle's the NHLer, and the draft pick for Kyle Quincy became Vasilevsky. hopefully this goes the other way, right? But Wyatt Johnston's going to be a real good player. So in the end, if it's just Johnson for Kosa, Kosa's got to pan out. I think he will, though. I think Detroit's really smart how they're working with him. I saw marked improvement in camp. He's so big and athletic. He just needs to have good structure, and he needs to be in a situation where he's winning and then progressing. And I don't think you're going to see him for a while, but we're in pretty good shape with Ville Husso in the meantime. So maybe, I don't know, maybe he takes a colossal leap next year, or they just acquire another backup, because I don't see Nedeljkovic being that guy. I don't even know who the starting goaltender is. Let's see, starting goalies, Wednesday, NHL. Let's see, because there's that site that shows you. I wonder if they probably haven't even announced it yet. Oh my God. I like how they trick you when they resize the page. So you think you're clicking on one thing. Whoops. Okay. Saros unconfirmed. Nedeljkovic unconfirmed. So if they phase Nedeljkovic, that could be a rougher night. He's been really, really inconsistent. Big difference. The Yzerplan's working, Illumi. I'm excited about it. I mean, this is a big improvement no matter what, even if they don't make the playoffs. So far, you can see big improvement. They had a whole ton of injuries early on. They've overcome those, and they're 9-5-4. They're in the first wild card spot ahead of New York Rangers, ahead of Florida. If I'd said that to you before, would you have thought that was going to be the case? And they're ahead of Pittsburgh. Now, Pittsburgh's surging a little bit. And the Intertap's point, he thinks that maybe 5 from the Metro will get in. It would not surprise me, but I don't think they're out of the mix. I mean, they're showing they have depth. When they have Husso in, they got really good goaltending. And who has a better top 6 in the NHL right now than Detroit? I mean, if you really break it down, this is what you would have expected, by the way, right? Larkin, Kopp, Rasmussen, Veleno. So that makes sense. Berggren's got to move up. I mean, that's just got to happen. But it's going to be tough for him to get in the top 6, it looks like, now that, Kubelik's cemented himself up here. Bertuzzi ain't going away. Berggren's, in my opinion, better than Adam Ernie. Ernie's had a pretty good year, though. And Sundqvist is so useful, really good in front of the net. Okay, then you go to the defense, like Sherratt, Seider, big night the other night for Hronek. Mata's been solidifying that pair. And then, they've been able to switch guys in and out on here. So, I mean, there's not many teams that have this. That's a big deal. And if you can keep getting 50, 60 games out of Ville Husso, that's what you need, unfortunately, because I think you're going to be at 500 or less with Nedeljkovic. And they're missing Lindstrom for a while. Day-to-day injury on for Soderblom. Interesting. Yeah, bust. Not coming back anytime soon. They've done it all with Pissick, who I thought they would, he would be pretty good. He's gone for a while. Fabry's still not back till January, so they're doing pretty good. Can't complain. All right, I feel bad for Nedeljkovic. He could use a win. I mean, he's been okay. Listen, Howard is never good. Have you seen Jimmy Howard? Like, they don't get Jimmy Howard. Like, for years we suffered with this guy. They wouldn't get rid of him, and now he's on the broadcasts. He's terrible. He's like, you're like, I don't want to listen to this. This is bad. He's the worst broadcaster. It's like, is he have brain damage? What is it? That's no offense, Jimmy, but he's terrible. You listen to him talking like, okay. I'm better with hiccups than Jimmy Howard normally. I think they just ride the year out with them unless they can pull in a trade. Like, if you are, so there's a guy in Anaheim by the name of Pat Verbeek. He's the general manager, and he came from the Detroit Red Wings, and he came from Tampa with Steve Yzerman. So do you call Pat Verbeek and say, listen, I got some assets. I got some guys that can help you. You're rebuilding a little bit. Maybe we move you a Nedeljkovic. He's not bad as a backup. You guys want to move Job Gibson? We'll throw in something, like give you a pick, give you a player. Like, I don't know if he's going to want Zadina. I think the writing's on the wall about Zadina. I don't think they're going to move Verona with the current situation, but a Robbie Fabry, if Robbie Fabry comes back from injury, now he's been really, really injured, Fabry would help out Anaheim. They've got some defensive prospects still. Like, they still have, if you look in, what's the guy's name? Not Wallstrom, Wallander. They still have Wallander in the mix. Like, they've got some really good defensive prospects. So they could package something up. They've got enough assets and guys that have popped through. Why would you not call up Anaheim? And maybe, I would hope they don't move Tyler Bertuzzi. I like Tyler Bertuzzi, and I hope they stick with him. But you never know. They might just say, I'll trade you Tyler Bertuzzi for John Gibson. Does that help them? Because I think Gibson needs to get the hell out of Anaheim. So if you get Detroit to get a guy like that, that could be a real good trading partner. Yeah, terrible. He was like, I don't know. I mean, I have so many things I want to say about that. Pierre Mrazek was better than him, but just not as consistent. In the dressing room, it was like he had like OCD. He would have a really weird routine. And you see him on TV, and it's like there's something off there. Yeah, the little ball hates the general manager in Anaheim. So why, at some point, John Gibson, he gotta like man up and say, I want to be a pro and win. I ain't gonna be at Anaheim. Not with that coach. And he sees the talent. There's tons of talent there, but I think he just needs a better defense and a change of circumstance and a tougher coach. Like Derek Lalonde, the goaltending guys here, all the skill, the development. John Gibson in Detroit would make a lot of sense. So if you could move out of Noah Kovac, his contract's expiring, you throw in, I don't know, do you throw in a second-round pick or a first-round pick? Like, if that's what it takes to get John Gibson, or you got a William Wallander. Like, Wallander could be very good. Emil Vero is a pretty good defenseman. Yeah, I don't. Toronto's a weird place, Like Dubas is obviously running it. It's just they have the guys they brought in of Yarncroc and Camp and those bottom line guys have actually been pretty good this year. I think they're really, really good. So you're always like, the cap crunch because we've got 4 players making $10 million. Yes, you need a goalie. So you hope that Matt Murray is sort of healthy and that Samsonov comes back. And Colgren's actually turned out pretty good. Like, he had a rough first game, but he's been consistent enough that you could go 30-30-30. Like you could split the years into thirds between those 3, and you'd probably be okay. But you need someone healthy in the playoffs. You got to think that you would want that to be Murray. But if Samsonov's healthy, they could be okay, right? So I don't see any trades there. Like, what does Toronto have that Detroit wants? Toronto, I don't know. I don't see it. That's probably more a function of, Shanahan's not really making trades, and there's nothing Toronto has that Detroit needs. But Anaheim, you would think that could make some sense. John Gibson, dedicate yourself to being a star. Don't just live on your ability. You're 28 or 29. Like, go somewhere where it's on the upswing and you can make a difference. Should have gone to Edmonton. Like, Jack Campbell ain't going to work out, in my opinion. You got to hope Stuart Skinner works out. I mean, John Gibson should have gone to friggin' Edmonton. Edmonton screwed up not signing Markstrom, I think, still. I still think that was a mistake on their part. That would have put 2 years of pain behind you. Like, doubling down on Mike Smith, who's now not even in the NHL. Like, you had a guy that was only $6 million a year to go to you, or $7 million. Steal. I mean, you gave that money to Jack Campbell. Yeah, I would hate to lose Bertuzzi. He's unrestricted free agent, though, isn't he? I think that's the problem. I think he and Larkin need contracts. So you got to think Larkin's going to get done, and Larkin will probably get done at $9 million. Like, if you're paying Matthew Barzal $9 million, why wouldn't you pay Larkin at this point? As much as I thought Larkin was not number 1 center, him having talent around him has allowed him to really blossom. His speed translates. He's a really good captain. He's good in a whole bunch of parts of the game. And I think, he's going to score 25, 30 goals, which is what you need from him, because he doesn't have to carry the puck all the time. Such a big difference. Having Kubelik, having Bertuzzi, having Raymond. I think Lucas Raymond really changes that whole team. I mean, he's just going to get better. He's still such a young player. All right, guys, it's 4 minutes before the hour. I want to thank you for joining and commenting on this. I am traveling to Qatar, so my schedule I got to figure out. The time changes, and when I'm actually settled, I will attempt to still do my live on Wednesday. If not, I'll record something and post it up as a live as I did. Thank you, Ryan Kirk. Appreciate you joining. Please hit like and subscribe if you have not. We have Hockey Nation Live events tonight. I have to, we need to publish a calendar. I got to talk to Coach Frenchie, and we're going to publish a calendar. So even just so I know what's going on, and you guys can know what's going on, we have hockeynation.live website that we really haven't done anything with. Maybe we just make that a calendar. What do you guys think? Thanks, Intertap. I think we need to get a calendar, Intertap, right? What's the show tonight? Is it on at 9 p.m. Eastern? Is there anything before that? I know Marco's been doing a lunch hour as well. Yeah, it's going to be a crazy trip. I'm probably going to be hurting. Same old. Thank you so much. I really like to see you join. If you have friends that are Detroit Red Wings fans, let's bring them in. Guys, comment. Do you guys use Twitter? Like, where else would you like to see this tie in? If we put a schedule up on, for example, if we did a better job of building out Twitter, warm-up show 6 p.m. Eastern. Got it. Okay. Assuming that's Eastern. If we put up Hockey Nation Live as the calendar of what's on the broadcast for the week, is that helpful? Would that allow you guys to share it out? Do you guys use Twitter? Because there's a lot of hockey action on Twitter. If we do a better job of posting, when the shows are, what news there is, and is that a way to grow this? Because we're almost at 6,000 followers on YouTube, and that's very important because monetization is on YouTube, and these other platforms necessarily aren't. Yeah, well, true. True. I feel like there's another person in Denver that was, though. Can't remember who it was. I'll have to remember that. But what do you guys think? Like, please comment. Do you guys like using Twitter? If we put the schedule up on hockeynation.live and made that the calendar of broadcasts, is that helpful? Does it allow you guys to share out? Do you guys use Substack? I was thinking Substack, where we record the videos and then, we have a post for each of the episodes where we put a link back to it. So you have a reference of, not just the YouTube channel, but also Hockey Nation Live being Substack and the calendar. What do you think of that? And then, we grow this together through Twitter as well as YouTube, because I think Twitter traffic will then lead to the other things. So just a thought. You don't hate them? Oh, well. You got a generational player there, another generational player there, and another generational player there. Like, we sleep on Mikko Rantanen, right? Cale Makar, nobody's sleeping on. Bo Byram, don't underestimate Bo Byram. Thursdays, 9 p.m. is the Turkey Awards. Oh, boy. Yeah, you guys, we have Thanksgiving. We did our Thanksgiving on Saturday because we're going to Doha. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving, everybody. I will try to jump on Wednesday. We will post up a better schedule. I'm going to make a bit of an effort around that. Greg and John, thank you for joining. I have to wrap this up. I appreciate everybody who has joined. Greg, if you weren't watching, please go back and watch the video and hit like. And let me know in the comments if you guys like Twitter, if we should post up a Substack that kind of ties in all the videos we have. It's a little hard to find videos, I feel, on YouTube. They find you. And I find on YouTube that our homepage has some less to be desired. So that's kind of my thought. All right, guys, have a wonderful Thanksgiving if I don't see you. And I look forward to seeing you on my next broadcast. And check out the Hockey Nation Live shows tonight.